Hello guys, welcome back to ViralReaction. I'm Vicky.
Peter here.
Welcome to today's reaction video, whereby you're back with an episode of LittleRichard.
Oh,
it's a video, a video of him, some exploration, and the video itself is titled "How LittleRichard was ripped off." Ripped off.
Oh, ripped off, being conned?
I don't know. Like, what is the meaning of ripped off?
I think it's being conned.
Okay, let's check it out.
Yeah, you're a ripper. Yeah, it's a con.
Ripped off.
Yeah.
It sounds like stripping
off.
Sorry.
I like your thinking. Ripped off, being cheated, overcharged, scammed.
Oh, you're right.
You're a ripper. Example, that shop ripped me off. I paid double the normal price.
Oh, so he got scammed.
Yeah, I felt ripped off after buying a fake phone.
We get it. So he was scammed, maybe conned.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see how he was.
Exactly, guys. This video is brought to us by Dan.
Yes.
Thank you, Dan, for this episode.
True.
And guys, thank you for jumping in fast. Subscribe.
Okay.
If you have not subscribed yet, as considering this is what we do here each and every day. On our family is just good vibes, good tunes.
Always.
You can see, so subscribe. And for any song request or video of your choice,
we explore anything. Remember,
and we'd like you to expand our exploration, our music journey. So check on our channel description. We have a buy me coffee link that you can use that for sharing any of your favorite, any of your support. Will be so thankful for that. For today is
let's check it out.
LittleRichard.
I'm so curious.
In essence, LittleRichard is the pioneer of all pioneers, the first of many, the ultimate trendsetter, one of the most important figures to grace the music industry in nearly every facet, whether we are talking about race, fashion, music, or sexuality. A piece of LittleRichard and the barriers he broke lives within most styles of music today. Not only was he a pioneer, but he actively helped platform a lot of artists when they were nothing. Some of the most important acts ever, including the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, and James Brown. So not only was he a pioneer,
like Jimi Hendrix
is new to us.
Yes, true. By the way, if you have
Hendrix,
something like that, Hendrix or Hendrix.
Hendrix. Let's do this.
Just check it.
He used his power to
and
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Tell us, guys, if you are his fan.
Who is he? Was he playing maybe with the Beatles,
or at the 60s
James
era?
Brown and era? Please share.
Hendrix and James Brown. So not only was he a pioneer, he used his power to help other artists emerge into the spotlight. That is a legacy that is bulletproof. LittleRichard spent most of his life reminding people of what he'd done and the boundaries he broke, because he felt like he never got the credit he deserved.
One of the greatest singers ever lived, one of the greatest composers ever lived. That's including me and everybody else, Jimi Hendrix and all of them that's been with me, James Brown, the Beatles, and Mick Jagger too. He don't ever match, but he was with me too.
Okay.
Mick, you remember that?
Yeah.
He said he know he was sleeping on the floor. They didn't have no bed for him. I know he can't forget that, cause it was hard, wasn't it, Mick?
Where's Mick?
Mick no ain't lying. He was staying in Bo Diddley's room, cause my room was crowded. Just trying to make it interesting so it won't be so dead, Mr. Simon. You know, sometimes you have to liven it up. I'm not gonna say the winner is me tonight. The winner is Otis Reddings. And we want to bring Otis and his family up here. I think they're here to get this great award. And that I just feel a joy in being there. And this is the first time I've sung Lucille in 30 years. This is the first time I sung any rock and roll in 30 years.
Oh!
Tonight. And the best new artist is me. I have never received nothing. You all never gave me no Grammy. And I've been singing for years. I am the architect of rock and roll. They never gave me.
I love that energy. Like, I've been singing for years, but you all have never gave me nothing. So the winner is me.
Yeah.
Oh, he just acknowledges himself.
Yeah, I like that. that spirit also
Being
sometimes.
confident.
Yeah, the confident of what you have delivered.
True.
Yeah, he knows he's the prize. Like, I'm the prize.
True.
Later in his life, he would begin to receive more honors and recognition, but for a while, the public's relationship with him seemed to exist as somewhat of a comedy show. Little Richard was an eccentric man and very outspoken, but if anyone had the right to be, he did. He often toyed the line between bitterness and graciousness when it came to his recognition and the success of those that came after him. Unfortunately, pioneers tend to get the short end of the stick. Little Richard was no different, not only with recognition, but with money as well. He did not get the money he was owed. Little Richard's story is emblematic of the struggle Black artists have faced. The record industry was not built for Black artists to thrive, sell, or make as much as their white counterparts. It's systemic, which makes the success of Black artists today even more profound. Little Richard grew up in poverty. He figured out early on that he had a passion for music and performing. After years of performing and failed record deals, where he received no promotion and struggled with his finances, he took a step back from the industry and picked up a job as a dishwasher. He shopped his demo around, and it landed with Specialty Records in 1955. Months went by, and he heard nothing until eventually he did, and he was signed to Specialty Records. After Little Richard sent in a rough cut of what would go on to be his first single, TuttieFruttie, Specialty Records owner Art Roop purchased rights to the song for a reported $50, and Little Richard's contract gave him only half a cent for each record sold. I was a dumb black.
You remember, I think we have did a story of Little Richard, his life, how it was.
The biography of
biography of, and he had mentioned all this, how he was paid half a cent for each record he sold, instead of being paid all that money in the contract, or what he was supposed to be paid.
Oh, by the way, but it's a Little Richard movie that we did.
Yes, a movie. I think it was a movie.
Yeah. A movie.
But it was giving all his biography, all
life
his
history,
journey, life journey.
Black kid. My mama had 12 kids and my daddy was dead, Little Richard reportedly said, adding, I wanted to help them, so I took whatever was offered. TuttieFruttie was not a slow burner. It was a pretty immediate hit. While the song was huge and successful in integrating segregated audiences, Little Richard saw little benefits of his hard work. Speaking of the incident and his perspective, he said, I had signed a very bad deal with Specialty. If you wanted to record, you signed on their terms, or you didn't record. I got half a cent for every record sold. Whoever heard of cutting a penny in half? It didn't matter how many records you sold if you were Black. The publishing rights were sold to the record label before the record was released. TuttieFruttie was sold to Specialty for $50. Most performers were young, inexperienced, and undereducated. We were exploited, abused, misused, and just plain ripped off by record labels as they quickly became aware of the money to be made in the early era of rock. And the people who got recorded were the ones who didn't know or care too much about the money angle of it. And when one came along who showed signs of knowledge of the business, he was called a smart who knew too much for his own good. That is why many of the old acts were never heard from after their first 1 or 2 recordings. So we knew to make money, we had to go on the road, and it had to be with the best show in the US. According to Forbes, his contracts was typical for Black musicians at the time. While white artists would enjoy a cut of between 3% and 5%, and Little Richard also reportedly received no royalties when his hits were used in movies or covered by white singers. A common practice in the music industry at that time. Roop went on to defend himself, saying that the deal with Little Richard was fair, especially considering the singer hadn't had a hit yet when Specialty bought TuttieFruttie. When I made a deal, I kept my deal. I went beyond my deal. There was ample profit in making a successful record. I made plenty of money. My artists made plenty of money. I didn't share in their personal appearances. I gave him a very fair contract, particularly an unknown. I gave them a very, very low rate, and I would increase it with time and performance, like you do in any industry, Roop said. TuttieFruttie was covered by numerous artists, including the Beatles, Elvis Presley, and Pat Boone. Boone's version is probably the most infamous. Boone's version made it to number 12 on the national pop chart, while Little Richard's version trailed behind, reaching only number 21 in February of 1956. They didn't want me to be in the white guy's way. I felt I was pushed into a rhythm and blues corner to keep out of the rockers' way, because that's where the money is. As you can see by this quote, there's been a long history of pigeonholing black artists into R&B. When TuttieFruttie came out, they needed a rock star to block me out of white homes. Because I was a hero to white kids, Little Richard said. The white kids would have Pat Boone up on the dresser and me in the drawer, because they liked my version better. But the families didn't want me because of the image that I was projecting. Little Richard acknowledged that Pat Boone essentially made his music more popular, and simultaneously acknowledged that the white audiences want black music, but they don't want it to be presented by a black person. Little Richard was seen as far more threatening than Pat Boone. The Pat Boone covers are legitimately bad. They just strip every bit of soul and personality out of the songs. Little Richard's second single, Long Tall Sally, was actually recorded and written with the purpose of it being so fast and up-tempo that Pat Boone wouldn't be able to keep up and record his own version. Nonetheless, Pat Boone recorded a version of this song. Needless to say, it isn't even a third as
Why was he recording like all the songs? Like he released the Fruity, and he produced a version of it. Now the second song also he's producing
like
another
he's doing
version.
some covers. He's the guys who does some covers of songs.
But it was so sad when he says like people the white people loved black people's music, but they loved it when the white people are presenting it. So that's so sad. Like imagine you're doing all the effort, but you won't be recognized. They will recognize your song, but with another person's version.
Okay, there's a time when that history that we played, he said that most even the radios were playing and is it Matt Bone's version?
Yes.
Yeah, more than the original version of him.
Good as Little Richard's version. These cover versions would often come out within the same time frame of the original and achieve more success on the pop charts than the original version.
Little Richard was so hot. If you went into town behind Richard, say Indianapolis, Indiana, you had to wait 2 months if he was there, 3 months, because he would sweep the whole town clean. Everybody went to see Little Richard. He was so excited.
But the white station wouldn't play black records. It was about 4 or 5 black radio stations in the whole country, and the white station wouldn't play me. But I was hitting big, but the white kids had my record, but I wasn't on the radio, and they would hear it from WLAC, called WLAC, across the whole country. That's the only thing that helped me. And then they took Pat Boone and threw Pat Boone on me.
They tried.
It wasn't something that was done in the beginning when it was rhythm and blues, because it was supposed to be not nice music at all. So you didn't have white artists doing black music. It wasn't acceptable. But when it crossed over to the white audience, and it was a song that did well with blacks and some whites, they said, well, hey, this is a good vehicle. We'll make even more money.
And Pat Boone said, oh, wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. And I still said, oh, wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. And the white kids wanted to hear, wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. Woo! They wanted to hear me. And so they were still bringing me in their house. And they didn't want their mama to know I was in the house. So they put Pat Boone on top of the bed and they put me in the drawer. I was in the same house.
A win is a win, though.
I thought I was in the same house doing the draw, but in-house. Oh, that's great.
This video
was created. Guys, Little Richard is so funny. Like his courage, his perspective, although it's just a win-win guy situation.
Yeah, and I love the way he was sounding. Oh, black
So the one guy like a black bob.
He's like the other guy's version is way softer, but mine is like
even faster. Yeah, it hits harder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know that Elvis Presley and Pat Boone sold more of TuttieFruttie than I did? And I wrote it and sung it?
Did that bother you?
No, it didn't. It made me feel good. They opened the door that was locked and I couldn't get in.
Oh.
But you got it afterwards.
Yes, I did. And now my wife and my little boy, they're happy with me with TuttieFruttie.
And then when you were really on top in 57.
I'm on top now.
Oh, but when you were really enormous.
I'm enormous now. Just said that I ain't got my light on up there.
Oh!
Okay.
Initially,
when you were enormous, right?
God bless your heart.
In 1950, you came back in 63, about, right?
No, I came back in '60. That's when I took the Beatles with me. See, I played Liverpool for Brian Epstein. He had a record store, and I took the Beatles and Mick Jagger with me. Mick Jagger was living on a truck. I had Jimi Hendrix playing guitar for me. I had Billy Preston on the organ, James Brown, and Joe Tex was my vocalist.
Wow!
I had all of them. That's the reason I'm the king. All of them came from me.
Oh.
Poor little old bitty me, a little Jewish boy, black bottom from Georgia. Me.
What did you think of Paul McCartney's version of Long Tall Sally?
I think it was fantastic. I love Paul. He's beautiful. I love Nick too.
Little Richard's debut album, Here's Little Richard, was released in 1957 and was a success and has become critically lauded for its early innovations of rock and roll. But it would take decades for him to start receiving his just due. In 1984, Little Richard sued Specialty Records for $112 million, saying they had not paid royalties to him after he left the label in 1959. He went on to settle out of court for an undisclosed amount. He had never made money from the numerous times his songs had been covered or used in media, despite being the songwriter and producer. Michael Jackson even acquired Little Richard's catalog through a purchase. He offered Little Richard a job with his publishing company once, for the rest of his life as a writer. At the time, he didn't take the job, though he expressed regret later on. Richard would struggle with finances for quite some time, and he is one of the prime examples of predatory practices and black artists getting ripped off during the rock and roll era. Despite money struggles, Little Richard was ultimately extremely passionate about performing and music. He gave his life to performing, and not only did the record industry as a whole benefit from some of his sacrifices, but pretty much every major star and showman has held him as a great inspiration, from the Beatles to Elvis to Michael Jackson, to Freddie Mercury to Bowie to Bob Dylan. The list is truly endless. One of the great architects of rock and roll sacrificed a ton to help build the foundation of modern music.
That is when that tune.
It sounds like a true.
Yeah, that's Little Richard piano.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is so interesting that despite all the challenges that he had financially, he didn't stop uplifting the upcoming musicians. Despite the races, like he was not biased on even the races. You can see on what
even the way he's answering and just perception of things, taking even if someone sell more records and his song, he was just like, okay, you opened doors for me where it was closed and all that. So he took it like of course,
he took the positive part of it. Yeah, he's a
part
positivity guy.
Yeah.
This is so much interesting, but he also had maybe to suffer to lay a good foundation for the upcoming black musicians who now enjoy the good contracts. You know, at that time maybe even you couldn't have that knowledge to read the contract before you signed. Remember, you were a kid.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you just take it.
Even if you had that, yes, you read it. You know, it's like you do have a choice.
Oh, the
like
options,
it's either you accept it or just die musically. Yeah. Because if you don't accept it, you can't record, you can't do anything.
By
because
the way,
it's either you sign the contract and then you record at least.
And remember that his father had passed away, so he had like to provide for the family and so on.
So you have no choice.
Exactly, but his music is timeless, so we still appreciate what he did.
Laying the foundation for others, that was really amazing.
Exactly. So thank you, Dan, for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give your genuine comments on the comments section.
Add anything that you have not, maybe it wasn't added in the video, and hope you did enjoy this with us. Otherwise, see you.
We out.
Bye bye.